Welcome everyone. Today we are taking a look at the FDick 14-inch Sapphire cut honing steel. So I received this honing steel about a month back along with the Premier Plus 12-inch chef knife. And this honing steel has done an excellent job keeping this knife edge razor sharp. In this video, I'm going to be covering three parts. First, I'm going to go over the specifications. Second, I'm going to show you a demo of how I use this item. And third, I'm going to go over functionality. So let's begin with some measurements. The honing steel has an overall length of 19.5 inches with the length of the honing surface at 13.75 of an inch. This item is made in Germany, and I reached out to the manufacturer to confirm the hardness rating on the honing surface, and it is 66 Rockwell. That's important because a honing steel can only be used to true a knife with a lower hardness than itself. I would describe the surface of the steel as a medium fine, and I'm going to come back to that a little bit later in this video. Now for our demo. We're going to use this honing steel to true the edge on this Premier Plus 12-inch chef knife. I'm going to show you the way that I've learned to do this. The most important part is that you have to have a consistent angle that matches the cut on the bevel. The cut on this bevel is at 15 degrees on each side. So to find our angle, we're going to start here. 90 degrees, half, 45 degrees, have it again to 22 degrees, and just a little lower should bring us to about 15. Now that we have the angle, I'm going to pretend to cut a little sliver right off the metal. And you should hear this distinct ring, almost like the knife is singing. You hear that? It's very important we keep that angle consistent throughout. Then we're going to switch and repeat on the other side. Now there are a few caveats that apply when you're working with a larger 12-inch chef knife. Normally you put a little bit of pressure on the knife as you're honing the steel, but with a 12-inch knife, it's a lot heavier. So you really want to let the weight of the knife do all the work. I'm not pressing down on this knife at all as I'm running it along the steel. I'm letting its own weight do everything. Keep in mind, the edge is very, very thin. If you press down on it too hard, you'll fold it over on the other side. Now you can easily check whether we have this right. I like to run my fingernail down, right along the edge, and I'm trying to see if it catches on. I'm going to repeat on this side. And it's not catching, so I think we have it right. Now to test out our edge, let's see how we can feather this paper. Look at that. And I always want to make sure I check several points along this blade. We can see we are sharp throughout. Then right across the paper. And one more for a good measure. Look at that. Slices right through. It actually feels a lot sharper now than it did when it came out of the box. And that's because of the micro serrations that this texture creates on the edge of the blade. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Moving on to the last part of our video, functionality. The first aspect I want to talk about, the surface texture. So this is described as a sapphire cut, and I would say this is about a medium fine. As a comparison, I have a different honing steel here. This is a J. Henkel's, also German made. And I'm not sure if you can see on camera, but this one is a lot rougher. It just feels so much rougher. This is a medium. The reason the honing surface is so important is because it determines what type of knife you can use it on. A more aggressive surface can be used with softer steels. But if you use a more aggressive surface with harder steels, you could get chipping. As an example, this FDick Premier Plus knife is a 56 on the Rockwell scale, which is perfectly fine to use with this FDick steel. But I would risk chipping the blade if I were to use it with a Scorce or a J. Henkel steel. In contrast, this is the Winco Churro, which is about a 52 to 54 on the hardness scale, and this one can be used with either this steel or this steel with pretty much no risk of chipping. It's a softer metal, it's more malleable. The next aspect I want to talk about, the length of the honing steel. This is a large one. It can accommodate knives up to 12 inches in blade length, which is great because I can use it with any of my chef knives. Now the drawback is that this one does not fit in any of my drawers. But that's alright because it comes with this hanging loop, and I have it hanging right off the side of my cabinet, which is better anyways because it's easier for me to reach. The next aspect I really liked, the handle. All of these FDick honing steels, the other ones I own, all have these really nice handles. They're just so comfortable. The bolster that sits ahead of the handle protects your hand, so if your knife does slip, it's not going to go into your hand. To sum things up, excellent craftsmanship, excellent performance. I would highly recommend this as a general purpose honing steel. I started sharpening knives over 10 years ago, and out of all the honing steels I've seen, these FDick ones are hands down the best. Nothing comes close. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you again to the folks at Tiger Chef for providing me this honing steel to review. And if you have any questions, please let me know below and I will get them answered for you.